small breakdown about how I got into handpan music. And I kind of gave y'all a play-by-play journey with handpan music in general. But there are some other things that I kind of want to talk about now that I'm looking back on it, because it's just a lot of stuff that I kind of, one, left out, and two, I kind of want to expand on. So I'm going to use this video to do that. Number one, every time that I played a handpan before I had my own, I was off of a good amount. First day that I ever touched a handpan, seen it in person, I was just so ecstatic. I was so ecstatic. I was so lit. But I think that the excitement and the focus of being able to busy my hands with a handpan and make music, that was a thing. Really liked the feeling of it, which is why I always recommend people to do things creatively that they're good at, right? I didn't know whether I was going to be good at this or not. Even honestly, the first time I played a handpan, I was not getting a sound out of it. And I know some of y'all like, what do you mean get a sound? So in order to play a handpan, you have notes on this pan. They kind of look like donuts. That's what I call them, especially when I'm like coaching or teaching other people. But you want to tap on the donut. That's where you get a sound from. My background in making a sound out of something was never usually pressure related to striking. It was usually a piano where I would press something, or I've played other instruments. There were woodwind where the focus is on covering a hole and blowing, or pressing a note and blowing, right? So I still don't have to figure out what percent strength I need to hit something at. Now, I had a lot of experience with, using that percentage strength and hitting somebody, but never something. I mean, I've boxed before. Again, that's a full body commitment, whereas I'm focusing the strength percentage on literally just my wrist, maybe an arm because it is a drum, right? But I've learned that playing my handpan, it's more so in my wrist and in the flick of my wrist to use my thumb, if that makes sense, or to use these digits that are on the opposite side of my thumb that I could also use to make a sound or hit another note. I, one, did like the exploration process because my mind was already running, one, and then number two, it was just a way for me to explore without any expectations. Like, I wasn't trying to play hot cross buns on a handpan. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna focus on playing this one song that I know, or trying to organize the notes. And I think that that's another piece where it's like trying something new while I am fully having an experience. I like that. So from that, I always played and integrated because I just loved the way that it made me feel. And then as far as the exploration part, it was one of them things where I just learned to run. That's what I call it. It's like when you so in the groove of something that you just take off with it naturally because you having fun, you enjoying it, and there's really no pressure to it. And also too, I love when my best friend would come with me when I would have these lessons whenever she was available, because she is a musician already. She's been playing violin since she was like 3. But a drummer, she has some experience with like a djembe. And I'm also finding that other friends who are African drummers for real, a handpan is easy for them. Granted, it's still a percussion, it's still a drum, but it's just like something that they adapt to naturally. I have another friend, and I didn't even know that he was an African drummer for a good period of time. We had a day where we just went to the lake. It was nice outside. We took my handpan and we was just chilling at the lake with our feet in the water. And he never played a handpan before, and I was so pissed because this man just took off running. I mean, he was playing for like 15 minutes straight, no break. And I'm like, dang, you just go cut up like that. But again, he is also, he also has a very trained ear musically because of other things that he does creatively and for work. I'm just learning that like when you enjoy something enough that you can run with it, it's probably something that you should stick with. And so for me, my handpan has been that, right? And it's also like, no, I'm learning something new, and I am integrating at the same time. So it was just like also another confidence boost for me. I didn't necessarily need a confidence boost, but to know that I was naturally good at this once I figured out how to make a sound. Because I didn't want to, one, it wasn't my own pen, so I'm trying to get comfortable on something that's not mine. And then there are also multiple pens that are available to me while I'm learning. So I'm learning 3 different pens at the same time, and I just made an executive decision that I was going to stick to just one, which was a Celtic 9-note. That pen became my baby. I loved it so much. I loved the sound it made, and I got really comfortable with that pen very quickly. I also like the scale of that pen. There was another pen, 2 other pens, but the Hijaz was cool, but it wasn't. I didn't want to hear Aladdin all the time, and that's what the resonance and sound of a Hijaz is. It gives me Arabian Nights. It gives me Aladdin. It gives me Middle Eastern, like, you know, it gives me that, and I like that, but to play that and only hear that all the time, no. I feel like there's a lot more versatility with Celtic and more eclectic sounding pans. But I have a D-curve, which is a 13-note, and I named her Nebula. Well, I didn't name her, my sister did, and she was like, I think you should name her Nebula. She kind of looked like something out in space, and I was like, you know what? I like it. Nebula it is. So me and Nebby, we be vibing out. But you know, it's just one of them things where it's like, once you figure out what sounds you like, then I think it's easier to get comfortable, if that makes sense. Also, figuring out the scale of it, it was interesting. I do like the sensory aspect of playing my drum with my feet in the water. I will say that 110%. I already told y'all that water and integration is a thing. But adding music to that, it was different. Like, I'm creating music. I'm also having like multiple sensory engagements at the same time. And I think that's what makes it for me. Everything is physical, everything is auditory, and the water is calming, especially at the lake. If you've never been to Lake Michigan in Chicago, you're missing out. That's a vibe. At least all the time for me. So it became a thing, especially in the summertime or when it was nice outside. One of the hard things for me is playing by ear. I know what notes I hear. I can match tone and pitch. But to organize those notes in my brain and then play it on a whim and I'm not writing anything down, that I do want to polish that, because I feel like there's a certain level of like, beyond being a handpan player, I am also a composer, because I have put things together. I have made melodies and I love them, and I've played them for other people. And eventually I do want to get to a space of integration and safety privately, so that publicly I can do things like sound baths and, you know, meditative things, or like, you know, partner with a yoga studio or something. Like, I don't know. I do want to make this a potential for growth on the side of my pockets, okay, because we care about $1, but also because I just like doing it. I like the tranquility and peace and calmness and zen that it brings me. And when I share that talent with other people, it is something that peace and tranquility and calmness and zen is something that they feel as well. And so beyond those feelings, it's an experience that I want to be able to share with other people, whether they have integrated or not, whether they're comfortable integrating or not, whether they want to have that kind of experience or whether they just want to enjoy the musicianship. And I think that's what I really am loving about this learning process. I don't want to prematurely step into anything, so it is going to be a matter of comfort when I feel comfortable, if that makes sense. Playing when I have and have not integrated, there is a difference. Is there a big difference? No, there's not a big difference. If you ever been to a black church, you know how sometimes when you pray or when you stand in a prayer circle and people be like, can we all assume an attitude of prayer? And everybody just takes a deep breath. They kind of center themselves and, you know, they close their eyes, they bow their head. When it comes to like assuming the attitude of prayer, that's kind of how I feel before I start playing my drum. After having integrated, it's like, all right, come on, let's do this. I'm very much so in like a setting type of vibe. Like we finna set this up, and then we just gonna go for it. We're gonna start running. I'm cool. I'm ready. I'm doing it. Let's do it. But when I'm not, it's like, okay, no. I want a candle lit. I want some fresh air going. I'm still setting, but that like extra, it's like, no. I am always excited to play my drum. Let me lead with that. But like, there is a difference. There's not much difference because the results still be chef's kiss fire. But I do notice a difference. I enjoy it. I still enjoy my drum in both settings. If you play any type of instruments, you do something creatively, or you're interested in learning something new, I encourage you to do it. And if you choose to integrate, when you do it, please do that safely and in an environment that you trust, because number one is safety first all the time. All the time. And it's been something that I've enjoyed. This is not an endorsement. It's not encouragement for you to do shrooms. Let me just put that disclaimer out there, because I swear to God, you will be promoting it. I'm promoting you to grow and learn and explore. If you choose to integrate while you're doing it, great. I hope that you document the journey, and I also hope that you share it with somebody else. If it's good for you, it can be good for them too. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace out.